Hi everybody, it's your girl Monica P. Hall, aka Conduit of Healing. Today's Tuesday, and this is a very impromptu video. But this video is actually based on how I woke up this morning. I woke up this morning from a dream, and I'm actually a very strong dreamer. I have been known to dream for other people, have precog dreams, have messages, predictions of babies, and unfortunately the end of relationships and so on and so forth. But this dream is not about anyone specific. This dream was about all of us, and the dream was about our current situation in terms of the environment that we are living through. It is a time of unrest. It is a time of shifting of consciousness. It is a time of winds of change blowing. In the dream, I was living in a building where I had an apartment on the very, very top floor. And in order to gain access, I was living in this high rise, and I had to walk outside in order to walk back inside to my apartment, kind of like a penthouse, if you will, in a skyscraper type building. And I was very cognizant about who the president was, which is the president-elect. And hey, if that's not what you want to hear and you want to stop the video now, that's fine. Namaste, God bless. But I was very conscious about who the president was, and I was conscious that I was trying to get to my apartment, and it was a time of concern because the building was suffering from tremors, like aftershocks of an earthquake, and it was raining outside and the wind was blowing. So I remember standing on let's just say, for all intents and purposes, the ground, even though it was the top floor of a building. And I'm looking at all my neighbors who have access to these penthouse type apartments, and everyone is trying to get back inside. And as we're all walking towards our doors, the building is swaying and the wind is blowing. So needless to say, everybody was a little bit concerned about just walking to their front door. And it became very clear to me that even though the building was kind of swaying and the wind was blowing, I could still walk to my front door. And many of my neighbors were finding that if they just kept walking and got and decided and were committed to getting to their front door and getting into their homes, that all would be well and all will be fine. And then I woke up. So this is the message for all of us. We are still living in a time of the great shift. Okay, the ground beneath us seems a little less solid. It feels like we're having a problem or having a hard time getting a foothold or getting to a place where we feel like we're standing on solid ground. And just as we go to take a step, right, the wind is blowing, and it's like it's going to kind of throw us off our path. And that is actually what's going on right now. We are living in a time where a lot of things feel uncertain. The ground doesn't feel solid, the wind is blowing, and it just feels like the earth itself, if you will, the elements themselves are making it a little harder for us to just go about our normal daily, right? Just entering your home. And it's true, and it has been the case for quite some time. A lot of people talk about the Great Shift being that it was 2020, as if it's over, and it's not. It is still happening. It wasn't one big great shift, because I don't think any of us could have lived through that. But a great shift that has ripple effects, if you will, or has aftershocks. So we're in a time right now where our everyday life that we used to take for granted has been taken away from us, whether it be, the political environment, the social economic environment, or, living on a global pandemic and trying to figure out how can we get back to normal. And what I need you to know, and I feel like what we all need to accept, is that normal's not coming back. It's not coming back. There's not going to be a time where you can go back to sleep and lull yourself into thinking that you're not a part of this, great collective that is all of us. That's not coming back. So if you're longing for those days, if you're wishing for those days, I would advise you to let it go, because it's not coming back, and you can absolutely hurt yourself trying to scrape and claw and chase after something that is actually no longer part of, if you will, the universal DNA, the genetic makeup of the universe. The time for us all to be selfishly asleep, obsessively concerned with our self, from an egotistical standpoint, it's gone. It's not coming back. So here we are in a time where it's been a great upheaval, spiritually, mind, body, as the collective, from a social standpoint, from an economic standpoint. Like, we're in a new place. We are in a place that we're trying to figure out, up from down, left from right. But in the meantime, while these things feel threatening, you still have to continue. You have to continue. You have to choose to walk to your place of safety. You have to choose to get yourself home, and maybe even think about what does home need to look like now in order for me to sustain myself, my family, my friends, my well-being, my peace of mind. What do I need to do? How do I need to adapt to get to my quote-unquote safe space, my home? And home can be your actual living space, or it could be the home within. It can be right here. This is home as well. And I'm sure this home has been shook. I don't think any of us have gone untouched, have been overlooked, have been passed over, even though we would have liked it, in terms of this great shift, the shift of consciousness, the shift of our mental well-being, our emotional well-being, just all the things you thought you were managing, hiding, avoiding, is all up in your face now. And it's there for a reason. It's there for you to work through it. So it's not that anything is working against you so much as all those things are now trying to be heard, trying to be addressed, requesting to be healed. And the only way to heal something is to first acknowledge it, and to respect it enough to say, let me just stop what I'm doing and let me let you have your say. So that's what's going on. This dream was not just for me. This dream was for all of us. We're in a time of great shit. It is all around. It's under our feet. It's around us in the air. It's coming down like raindrops from the sky. You cannot escape it. It's the only way you're going to get to your safe space, your home without, your home within, is to work your way through this very challenging, sometimes scary, sometimes impermanent reality that we're in right now. And yeah, we're all going to work for it. We're all going to work for it. It's not going to be handed to anyone. We've been in this time where it seemed that certain people really want to be more engaged, more active, more proactive in doing their part in making sure that all of us are living in a world of equality, until a lot of people found out how hard it is to break a system that was not built on the concept of equality, how hard it is to deprogram people who have been indoctrinated to biases towards certain people or certain groups or religious practices, so on and so forth. It's actually hard to unlearn and relearn. And never underestimate how lazy people are. They're like, I just want to go back to sleep where, I didn't have to deal with the discomfort of your feelings, of your suffering, of what you're going through. I just want to talk about like petting kittens. And, my cat's great. He's cute. But like, there's more to life than me just pretending like it's all about my cat, or it's all about what's on the radio, what television show or whatever distraction you are into or want to share, because you just can't deal with the harsh reality of life. Life is not always harsh. There's a lot of beauty here as well. There's a lot of people who are changing. We're making progress collectively. We are systematically dissembling a foundation of a world that really was built on ego and not on spirit. So if you change your attitude about what's happening, maybe you will feel more compelled to be part of the solution rather than trying to rebuild the problem. Because there is no getting past this. There's no getting past this. That dream taught me that there is no getting past this. You will deal with this, or you will be dealt with. Pick, choose. So, to recap, because I'm about to wrap this up, it's not just you. The ground beneath you really is shaking. Sometimes it leaves, sometimes it comes back, sometimes it moves to one side, and you might feel like you're being thrown one way and then the other. And just when you feel like you might have a good foothold on everything, then the wind starts blowing you one place to the other, and you're like, okay. Now then you figure that out, and you're like, okay, I'm almost there. And then it just rains. So now the ground is shifting, the wind is blowing, and you're being drenched. And you still have to figure out a way to continue. You still have to move forward. You still got to make it to your safe space. You still have to commit yourself to getting home and rearranging home however necessary. Okay? That's the message. And hopefully it reached those who need it right now. It's not just you. I promise you, it's all of us. Okay? Commit to getting to a safe place, in a safe space. Commit to rearranging home in here. However it needs to happen in order for you to basically stay in alignment with what's happening on a universal level, so that you are part of the evolution, not part of what's being ripped away and taken away. Okay? Thank you so much for listening. Namaste. If you haven't been keeping in touch with Conduit of Healing, we are doing so much. Everything from conducting Reiki circles to meditation circles. Just launched a line of healing products, Reiki infused with shea butter creams and teas. Because right now we really do need access to healing, to keep ourselves in alignment, to keep ourselves sane, to keep ourselves productive in any way that we can right now. Thanks. Bye.